My parents said yes, sat a few hours, and then headed back to the hospital. When they arrived, they said reality had set in. My skull was wrapped, where they drilled a hole for the bolt, and a wire was running from the bolt to a machine which beeped every time the brain swelled, so they would know when the pressure was too much against my skull. They had sewed my eye inside my mouth, my road rash had begun to ooze, and my face had begun to swell. Usually the third and fourth day are the worst, and then the swelling starts to go down, but for me, the second week, I was still fighting the swelling. Every part of my head was swollen. It tore the stitches in my eye open, and my tongue was so swollen that it didn't even fit in my mouth. They had taken the breathing equipment out of my room and had given me a tracheotomy because I was still unresponsive. In these 2 weeks, there were so many times when the staff didn't think I would make it. The doctors would come in and give the bad news, and the nurses would say, "Never give up on that little window of hope." By day 21, the swelling had stabilized, but I was still not responding nor breathing on my own. I had developed pneumonia, a fever, stomach infections from the feeding tube, and I had poison ivy from laying in the grass median on the highway. My mom said she didn't know the body could take so much medicine. I was getting morphine for the pain, 3 medications for the swelling, brain swelling, antibiotics for the pneumonia, aspirin for the fever, medicine for stomach infection, and steroids for the poison ivy. The hospital sat with my parents and told them my future did not look good. I would not walk or talk or have much brain function again, so there wasn't much more they could do for me. At this point, they were moving me to a place in Hartford Hospital called Step Down, so my parents could find a facility to take me. This is day 22. They put me in a chair. At this point, every part of my body, including my head, are strapped in. I still cannot move or control any part of my body. The nurses did everything for me. I came into the hospital at 99 pounds and was now 80. About day 24, my eyes started following movement, and my left side started having little twitches. These next 7 days were exciting and scary at the same time. I started using the breathing machine less, and there was movement on the other side. The scary part was when things weren't connecting right. I had to be strapped down, so I wouldn't get up and try to tear out my tubes. On day 28, I moved to the acute rehabilitation program at Connecticut Children's Medical Center. If you think school is a long day, you do not want to be in rehab. 6 days a week, I was up at 6 o'clock being checked by doctors. I had speech therapy, occupational therapy, physical therapy, schooling, and emotional therapy. I never truly appreciated the simple things like brushing my teeth or chewing gum. All day, 6 days a week, I had to relearn everything from walking to talking to adding simple numbers, how to brush my teeth, manners, dressing myself, everything we take for granted every day. I felt horrible. They had removed my tracheotomy on day 40, but were still feeding me through my stomach. My body hurt. My head hurt. I wanted to give up, but they wouldn't allow that. They were very kind and caring, but kept pushing me. It was hard. I hadn't been home in 61 days. My mom lived in the same room with me, and my family was there every night. My dad, my brother, and sister stayed with me sometimes on the weekends, but I still wanted to go home. On March 2nd, they felt I could go home. It felt so good. My own house, my dog, my own bed. I still needed a lot of care as I was very unstable on my feet. I needed directions and lists as I relearned my home and daily routines. And finally, after 74 days on March 15th, I went back to have my feeding tube removed. Things were still hard for me the next 4 months. I had to keep going as an outpatient for therapy, 4 hours a day, 4 days a week. Now that I am home, life is very difficult for me. Every morning I wake up to face a new day. Just looking in the mirror and seeing the scars is a constant reminder of the accident. I think the hardest, lowest time for me was when I went back to school in August 2004. All summer, I spent most of my time in therapy and at doctor's appointment. I worked so hard and did everything they told me so that when I went back to school, I thought it was going to be just like it was before the accident. I was so wrong. I can't concentrate the same. The schools seem noisy and overwhelming. Some people who used to be my friends no longer talk to me or call me anymore. I had to admit to needing the learning center to get through my courses, and when I headed off to my afternoon school, the Greater Hartford Academy of Performing Arts, to study the special talent that I possessed, I could no longer sing the same. I saw many specialists, but I had cognitive and physical damage to my vocal cords. I was also fired from Tommy's Pizza in Portland for not remembering things. I felt like I had hit a brick wall. I hated myself for getting into that car. I hated the driver for speeding, and I hated the world for letting this happen to me. My brain couldn't handle the frustration, the hate, or the anger. It just wasn't me. I hated what I had become, and things just didn't seem worth it. No one outside of my house understood. I wish I had died in that accident. It seemed easier for my family and for me. Things seemed to be getting better. I have learned to accept that there will always be scarring on my face and body, partial loss of vision in my right eye, problems with my jaw, restricted breathing, and that I didn't graduate with the kids that I had spent 12 years with. I did graduate the academy, but understand that I no longer possess that special talent and was forced to choose a new career path. I finally accepted the fact that I need a lot of help in school and that my brain isn't always going to work the way I want it to. I'm accepting that not everyone can handle and deal with the changes in me and what I'm going through. I just described to you my last 4 years in 10 minutes. I appear to be like everyone else, but I am not. I lost my senior year of high school to rehabbing, and every day has been a constant struggle to be happy in a world that just doesn't seem the same. I'm used to the tutors, working around my poor memory, and I don't think about the old me as much. But you need to remember that it's been over 4 years. 1 year of hospitals, 2 years of therapy, 3 eye surgeries, 1 stomach surgery, 1 mouth surgery, and a lifetime of memory problems. I have to fight every day to be happy again. I hope in hearing my story that you will remember that this can happen to you. If you think that you're a survivor and it's easy, you are very wrong. Please think about your decisions before making them, because once you make a bad decision, there's no turning back. Thank you.